And today's phrasal verb is to make out. And we're going to talk about two different meanings of this phrasal verb. The first meaning of make out describes how someone wins in a situation. For example, how did you make out at the casino? It's like, how did you do? Or how was your performance? Or maybe even similar to, what did you get? But there's also a second meaning of make out. And this is more slang, but a lot of people use it. To make out means to kiss another person for a long time, usually using your tongue. For example, if you go to the cinema, you might say, the people in front of me were making out the whole movie. To speak out loud, or to read out loud, or to sing out loud, or I think you get the idea. Now, first of all, let's talk about two different phrases that you might hear. You might hear someone say to speak out loud, or you might hear someone say to speak aloud. These are basically the same thing. Usually in British English they use aloud, and in American English they use out loud. So what does it really mean? To speak out loud means to speak loud enough for everyone to hear you. That means not having an internal conversation with yourself and not just thinking a thought, but actually saying it. And the same goes for read out loud. When you're sitting in school, your teacher might say, read page 9. And then she waits and she says, I told you read page 9. But the student might ask, should I read out loud? Because usually when we read, we don't speak the words. But if you read out loud, you have to speak the words. The same with sing out loud. If someone tells you to sing out loud or to speak out loud or to read out loud, you need to do it loudly. Loud enough for people to hear you. To answer for. We usually use this phrasal verb when we describe someone taking responsibility for something. For example, we see that someone made a bad decision and we say that he's going to have to answer for that later. It means he will need to explain himself or he will need to face the consequences of his actions. A lot of times this phrasal verb is used to refer to negative situations in the past, or maybe poor decisions. I remember a character from a book saying, I'll answer for my sins in my next life. Is there anything that you need to answer for? If there is, share in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to press like and press subscribe. To snap out of something. Now, if you don't know what snap means, the first meaning of snap is something like this. It's a sound that's made when two things hit each other, or maybe when something breaks. Snap has a lot of different meanings, and we're not going to talk about all of them right now. We're only going to talk about snap out of. We often use the phrase to snap out of something, or just snap out of it, to describe how we need to change our way of thinking, or we need to wake up. For example, I thought I was in love, but then I snapped out of it. This means that first, I thought that I loved somebody, and then I understood that my mindset was wrong, and I changed what I thought. Or maybe we would say, I came to my senses. I started thinking clearly. In films, people use this phrasal verb a lot. A character might go under a spell, or under the influence of someone else, and they might change in a bad way. And one of the friends of this character can say, hey, snap out of it. So if you thought learning phrasal verbs was going to be easy, you need to snap out of it. To wait on someone. Now, I think that you already know the verb to wait. Yeah, to wait, it's boring. But to wait on someone is a little bit different. Maybe you know a job called a waitress or waiter. This person waits on customers. In fact, when we see a customer waiting somewhere, we can say, have you been helped? Is anyone waiting on you? We especially use this phrase in restaurants. However, we can also use to wait on outside of this context and just to mean something like wait. You're probably used to hearing people say wait for someone or wait for something. But you could also use wait on someone or wait on something. So your friend sees you standing at the bus stop and he asks you, are you waiting on the bus? He could also ask, are you waiting for the bus? There's no real difference here. Both are correct. To make something up to someone. That's right, let me repeat it. To make something up to someone. Now you probably remember that to make something up could mean to tell a lie or create a story. to say something that's not true. But in this context, it means something completely different. To make something up to someone, it means that you owe that person. For example, they helped you in the past and now you need to help them. After you do this thing, you'll be even. You won't owe them anymore. That's what it really means. Let's consider this example. You forgot your money at home and your friend pays for your lunch. You tell your friend, "Thanks, I'll make it up to you." This means that I will do something good for you later. It means I owe you, but you should expect that I'm going to remember. Do you need to make anything up to anyone right now? It's easy to forget. Leave a comment and tell me about it below. And while you're at it, press like and press subscribe. To explain away. Now, you know when you have a really important question and you ask someone and they try to give you lots of information, details that maybe don't really answer your question, but they try to make you stop asking. Yeah, it's probably happened to you before. For example, I asked why his window was broken and he explained it away. So really, explain away just means that you give an explanation and this thing goes away, or we stop talking about this idea. We might also use the verb to explain away to express that a problem will continue to exist. For example, you can't explain away pollution. This means that you can explain pollution, you can explain why it happens, you can explain different factors of pollution, but you can't explain something so that pollution stops. You need to do something, not just explain. We often hear explain away when we're talking to a person and that person doesn't take what we're saying seriously, or he tries to dismiss that thing. I told the doctor my head wasn't feeling well and he explained it away as a common cold. I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to explain away. Don't forget to press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment down below. To know of someone, or to know of something. So someone might ask you a question if you know someone or if you don't know someone. And sometimes this question can be confusing because we know that a lot of famous people exist, but we don't know them on a personal level. So when someone asks me, "Chris, do you know the president?" I can answer, "I know of the president, but I don't know him personally." If I answer like this, then the person definitely understands both meanings of the word to know. So really, when we say know of something, it's like we know that it exists. You might say, "I know of 3 people who do that job in this area." This means there are 3 people. Maybe they're not my friends, and maybe I don't know them personally, but I know that they exist and they work in this area. I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to know of someone or something. Don't forget to press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment down below. To look over. And this actually has a lot of different meanings, so we're going to break it down. First of all, over can mean to the other side of the room, or a short distance from you, or some distance from you, the person speaking. So if I say, "He looked over at me," it simply means he looked at me from some distance. But we might also use it in other ways, like he looked over my shoulder. This means that he came up behind me and looked over my shoulder at what I was doing. But today we really want to focus on one meaning of look over that's different. That's not really about looking, so to speak. To look something over, especially a document or somebody else's work, means to review it or to check it. We might say, "Look over this contract," which means find information in the contract and understand what it's about. Make sure that it's okay. It's also important to understand that to look over is not the same as to overlook. These are 2 very different verbs. To nose around. And we usually nose around in something. So what do you think it means to nose around? Sounds kind of strange. Well, we know that this is our nose. We know what around means. So nose around, nose around. Maybe nose around? No. To nose around means to try to find information about something that's not connected to you. You shouldn't be involved, but you're trying to get information about it. You're nosing around in someone's business. Similar to this phrasal verb, we have an adjective, nosy. This is an adjective describing a person's behavior when he or she always puts their nose in other people's business. We say that he or she is nosy. And we could also say that they are nosing around. To stick to something. Or we might also say to stick with something. To stick to something or to stick with something is not actually about a stick. Instead, stick to something means to do what you planned, or to do what you say you would do. We can often hear the phrase, stick to the plan, which means do what we planned before. Or someone might say, I like to make a plan and stick to it. It means I make a plan and then I follow it, or I complete the plan. Really, what stick to means is that you don't give up. You keep trying and you keep working at it. In fact, some people might use it as an insult. When someone is new in a career and another person wants to tell them that they should probably go back to their old career and only do that. Or basically that they're not going to be successful. They might tell the person, stick to farming. You're no good at banking. This means don't quit farming. So yeah, we can understand stick to like don't quit. To be up to something, or to be up for something. I'm having a party, you can come if you're up to it. This is the kind of phrase that you might hear when someone invites you to a party. You'll notice at the end I said, if you're up to it. This means if you feel well enough, if you're healthy enough, if you're in a good mood, if you really want to. If everything is okay with you, do this. If you're up for it, or if you're up to it. Another example, we're climbing a mountain and when we get to the middle of the mountain, you say, okay, let's go to the top. And I tell you, oh, I'm not up to it. This means I don't feel that I can. I'm not strong enough, or I'm not in a good mood, or I'm not ready to do this. I'm not up to it, or I'm not up for it. You might also use this phrase in a general announcement. Party at my house for whoever's up for it. Who's up for a party? I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to be up for something or to be up to something. Don't forget to press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment down below. To stay up. Now, to stay up actually means to not go to sleep or not go to bed. We might ask someone, how late did you stay up last night? And he might answer, I stayed up until 3 in the morning. This means he didn't go to sleep until 3 in the morning. We might use not stay up or can't stay up to say that we're getting tired. For example, I went to bed in the middle of the film because I couldn't stay up. This means that I got very tired and I needed to sleep. It was out of my control. How late do you stay up at weekends? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. And while you're at it, press like and press subscribe. To get by. Now there's a lot of phrasal verbs with the verb to get, and they can be very confusing. To get by means to survive, but it's not about all surviving situations. For example, if you were drowning in a river and then you made it out of the river alive, you couldn't say, I got by. It wouldn't make sense, because get by is a different type of surviving. To get by means to survive in a general sense in life, and at a very low condition or minimal level. So we could say, I didn't have a lot of money at university, but I got by. This means I survived, I lived. I didn't have a great lifestyle or a high quality of life, but I survived. I got by. Of course, get by can have a more direct or physical meaning too. To get by could mean to pass someone or something, especially when they need to sneak or when they're not allowed, and when someone is trying to keep them out. We could say, security wasn't letting people in the club, but we got by them. This means we entered past security, or they didn't see us enter. So as you can see, get by has several different meanings. To verge on. To verge on really means that you're on the border, or you are almost doing something. If we wanted to say the film was interesting, but it was almost crazy, we could say the film was interesting, but it verged on crazy. Another way that we could use this phrasal verb is in a phrase. There's actually another phrase that's very similar to this phrasal verb. That phrase is to be on the verge of. After the phrasal verb to verge on, we usually use an adjective or some kind of phrase. But after the phrase to be on the verge of, we usually use a gerund. That's a word that ends in ing. For example, we were on the verge of leaving the party when Bruce Willis came. This means we were ready to leave the party and we almost left, but then Bruce Willis cane. I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to verge on and the phrase to be on the verge of. Don't forget to press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment under this video. To call for. Actually, this is one that people confuse a lot because a lot of people don't really understand what for means. For and to are very different words. To shows direction. For does not show direction, but it shows intent or purpose. So it's not correct to say, I called for the restaurant. Instead, we should say, I called the restaurant. If we need to speak to a specific person, we can say, I called for Mike. This is correct. But call for also has another meaning. To call for something means that this thing is necessary in the situation. For example, the president's policies called for change. This means that his policies required that change happen. Or maybe you're trying to start a business and you ask someone how much money you'll need for your business. And they say, starting this type of business calls for over $1 million. So we can see call for means requires. And if you're watching this video series and you find the information here useful, that calls for a like, a subscribe, and a comment down below. To beef up. Now probably you know that beef is a type of meat. So how can you beef something up? This doesn't mean that you add beef to something. No. To beef something up means to make it bigger, to make it thicker, or to make it more interesting. But when we say that we beef something up, it means that the things that we add to make it bigger, or to make it thicker, or fuller, might actually not be important things. We might just add a lot of stuff to make something bigger. For example, I need to give a 5-minute speech and I only have 2 minutes of material. I need to beef up my speech. We might also use this phrasal verb as an adjective. Beefed up. For example, he drives a beefed up Toyota. This means his car, a Toyota, has a lot of extra things in it that a usual Toyota doesn't. But it's still a Toyota. To put on and to put off. Now before you start guessing what it means, it's not related to the verb put at all. It has a completely different meaning. Usually we talk about putting someone on or putting someone off. And it usually means we make someone like something or we make someone dislike something. For example, maybe your friend showed you a really cool music group and now you like that music group. And you show another person this music group and they say, wow, where did you find this group? And you say, Mike put me onto this group. This means Mike showed me and I liked it. Or Mike made me like it. An opposite example would be, it really puts me off when people spit in public. Here we can see that I don't like when people spit in public. What are some things that put you off? Write your answer in the comments below this video. And what's the best way to put someone onto something? Also write me a comment under this video. And while you're down there, press like and press subscribe. To crap out. Maybe you don't know the word crap. It's like another word that you probably know, which is shh. Wait, I can't say that word in this video series. How can I explain it? Crap is something that people sometimes leave in the toilet. But crap out isn't really about that stuff. To crap out means to stop working or to break. But it's not when we physically break something, no. It's when something stops working that worked before. It stops functioning. For example, we could say, my car crapped out on the highway. It means it stopped working. Or maybe we could say, we were all watching the news when the TV crapped out. Again, the TV stopped working. Has anything ever crapped out on you? Write a comment down below and let me know. To pull off. This verb has several meanings. One of them is about when you're driving a car. If we say pull off, it means to drive to the side of the road so that you are not on the road. You are off the road. Pull off also has another very important meaning. It means to do something successfully or to complete something. For example, I didn't think Mike could jump from one roof to the other, but somehow he pulled it off. It means I'm surprised that he could do it successfully. Or another example, I don't know how I was able to pull off going to university and working at the same time. Again, it means I don't know how I was able to do it successfully.